Good morning, everyone, and welcome to Banner and Backbone. Today, it is a special report on sustained engagement in DC until until he's gone, until it's over, until the end. Um, and I'm Nick Perro. I'm bringing on my friend and colleague Evan Fields of News from Underground and Lincoln Square Project. I don't actually know the full name of Lincoln Square anymore. It seems to have changed quite a few times, but that's okay. Evan, it's good to see you. Can you introduce yourself to everybody? We're waiting on Melissa Corrigan to join us here in a little bit from DC itself, but just wanted to make sure you got the chance to say hi, introduce yourself to everyone, and we can talk about sustained efforts. So,
Yeah,
good
of
morning.
course, man. I appreciate you, Nick. Again, I'm Evan Fields. I am an Army veteran, writer for Lincoln Square. I run my own Substack News from Underground. I've got, um, after I got out of the Army, I went back to school and got a graduate degree in public administration and focused on public policy and stuff. So I'm really just involved in trying to call out the bullshit and see what we can do to make things a little bit better. So I appreciate you having me here, man.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm so glad you're with me. Not the first time we've gotten to talk,
No, no, no.
and certainly won't be the last time. And so I wanted to just get your thoughts on things that are going on. So last week we had a discussion, or we started a discussion with a doing a special from B&B or Banner and Backbone for those who don't want to use the short, where we had Dean Blundell and Zeph Shaleb on. And we had a lot of the Banner and Backbone team, plus the guys from Centered America. And we were discussing efforts for sustained engagement and how that could look and what that would mean. And with your expertise in public policy and local engagement and local democracy, um, you're someone who's probably really good to talk on what these types of efforts can look like, and how that might compare to what's actually about to start happening here in DC. Well, not here in DC. I'm not here in DC, but for those in DC, there's a sustained sit-in effort that's about to start today or is starting today. And I wanted to get your thoughts on it, Evan, and how that um, plays into local engagement overall and improving democracy through these types of efforts. So I'll hand it over to you for a bit.
Yeah, for sure, man. I think one of the things that we've seen is people using social media to keep everyone engaged and keep everyone motivated. We saw it with the No Kings rallies, and one of the things that I think that helped in the elections yesterday, especially with one of the most important things is local change and local motivation. And we saw that yesterday with ballot measures from it was everything from ballot measures to local mayor races all the way up to governor's mansions where they went all Democrat and people were out and involved and motivated in voting. And I think that was a direct result of how much, community engagement and local engagement we're seeing. We saw the No Kings protests on a local level. I mean, we saw them in small conservative communities here in Colorado. And when we've got organizations like No Kings, Midas touches out there, you guys at Banner and Backbone with the Unmask project, all this activity and all the community engagement that's going on, all the people that are motivated, it's just refreshing to see. And I think it's really everyday people doing the work. I think that that's what's a little bit different this time is you're seeing a lot more working class people motivated, a lot of a lot more people motivated locally, and I think that's turning into a bigger change, and we're able to affect more change and bring more notoriety to the causes that way. So I
Yeah.
think, you know there's a lot of engagement online, but people are also taking it into their hands locally, and they're showing up to the protests and they're showing up to vote. I think that last night was a great example of, where we are, where we're going to be going forward. I think that the turnout yesterday and the motivation, and that might have been the spark that people needed to get involved a little bit more and get engaged. And I feel good. I really feel good after yesterday. I think that yesterday was going to be the litmus test for how motivated people were to fight back against fascism, and I thought that we saw democracy at work, frankly. You know what I mean? People looking out
Hmm.
for people, and I think that that's what it's going to be going forward. One thing, like with what you guys are doing with unmasking the ICE agents and stuff, one thing that I am worried about, um, with these efforts to organize locally, is that he's going to use ICE agents and Border Patrol and everybody, and they're going to try to put the boot on the neck even more. So we have to stay motivated, and we have to almost be better than we were last night going forward.
Yeah, I think I totally agree. I think yesterday, and I put out a note on it this morning, was basically like, or I thought about putting a note out. I should do one. Is yesterday was really just the starting point. Like
Mm-hmm.
yesterday was the starting point of major sweeping wins for Democratic candidates, for pro democracy candidates. There were sweeping wins across the U.S. Um, and we didn't get that elsewhere, or we didn't get that before.
Mm-hmm.
But now we do. And while I'm talking about this, I'm going to bring on my good friend Shane Urich, who's joining us. His name
Sweet.
might not appear in the chat or on the show today, but my brother and good friend Shane Urich,
What's up,
Firebrand, leading
Shane?
the
More people is
charge.
always better vibes. How you
Yes,
Hell
doing?
what's
yeah.
going on, Evan? Night, Nick, what is up? Good to see you guys.
What's What's up? And yeah, we're talking about the sustained efforts and like where we're at right now and what point we're at. And it's just the starting point. Last night was the starting point of wins. Last night, last night wasn't the starting point of wins. Last night was a point where we emphasized that we are winning. We emphasized broadly across the US in every single one of these elections that pro democracy candidates are the candidates that people want democracy, that people want functioning government, that people want a system that helps them and provides for them and is a service to them and is not hurting them on purpose. And
Exactly.
yesterday was a starting point where we now, like, there was news that from Dana Dubois and Lawrence Winterman on their show, the Daily Whatever, just before this, they were talking about the news that Jeffries and Speaker or Leader Jeffries and House Minority
Schumer.
Leader Jeffries and Schumer are going to meet Trump and demand a meeting with Trump.
Oh wow.
Um, and my hope for this is if they're not spineless and feckless and weak cowards, is that they're going to go into this and they're going to demand that Americans retain the ACA benefits for affordable health care, that Americans get their SNAP benefits back, that the government must fully fund while they're still shut down using the available and pre-allocated funds to fund the fucking SNAP benefits. Like, Democrats can go in and demand this because now it's time to go on offense. We won last night. Don't be fucking defensive. Don't be meek. Don't be cowards. Go on offense. Go on offense and take the wins, Democrats. Take the wins. That's what we need to get out of this. And I think the DC sit in that's starting today is a great time to have that start, is an incredibly well timed effort to have that start because Democrats just won across the nation, or pro democracy candidates just won across the
Democracy
nation.
won. Democracy
And
won across the nation.
democracy and sustained protest and sustained engagement is starting and winning in DC today. And I think
Yeah.
that's
Well,
a big thing.
I don't know if you saw my note this morning. And Evan, I just subscribed to you. I honestly, I'll have to check your stuff out because I'll be the first to admit it's hard to check everyone out. But
Dude,
I'm
Substack
if
is
you're
so
here with Nick,
chaotic these days. I hear
yeah,
you.
if you're here with Nick, you're one of my people. Nick is one of my
No
best friends
worries at all.
in the world throughout all of this shit. We've been doing this. So if
We
you're
do sometimes rail against your network, not in a bad way. Evan works with the Lincoln Square guys. Shane, are you still with us? Did we lose
No.
Shane? Can y'all hear me?
Yeah, I can
Can
hear you.
y'all? Okay.
I think
I
Shane
think we
just
lost
froze.
Shane for a moment. As we talk about you guys, I mean, we talk about the Lincoln Square guys and Midas Touch guys, and our big thing is we rail with you, but we also ask that the larger networks and the larger publications um, do more. We're trying to figure out how to get more from the efforts, not because we think you guys aren't doing enough, but because we know you guys have the more funds than we do to get these things organized and get people behind the scenes moving. And you guys have the power to actually talk to those in office that we don't yet. Um, and I think so. We sometimes rail against you guys, but always in a good way. We're hoping Shane will be back with us soon.
No, I hear you, man. And I think that, I mean, it's valid things is like I always, because I have the same concerns because it's almost like the bigger publications, you're so desperate for them to replace corporate media in that like overarching aspect and stuff. And
Yeah,
trust me, I think one of the things that I think is Lincoln Square is it's starting to get off the ground and starting to get that. I think that you saw with the interview with Representative Ro Khanna that Susan had last week. That was a little bit bigger of a push to get. I know that people were pissed about it, but Jake Tapper was on there not that long ago. So they are growing. I know that it's a little frustrating because like the Lincoln Project is so big and so it's kind of like separate, and that's one of the things that I've kind of been trying to figure out myself is how we can kind of get people to make those connections a little bit more so that it is so you do get that like larger audience from the Lincoln Project and stuff. But I know exactly what you mean, man, is I think that we do need those bigger publications like Midas Touch and everything and Lincoln Square. Once we start to get our feet more on the ground a little bit, that we can get those bigger interviews and start to bring along like publications like mine and Banner and Backbone and everything. And that way we can start to like take over the independent media apparatus because we've already got, I don't mean to get in the weeds or anything here, but like we've already got we saw the MS Now branding start to shift yesterday and they're already trying to infiltrate those independent spaces. So
hmm
I definitely hear you. I know what you mean.
yeah. And our big thing is how can we get one? We got Shane back.
There he is.
Welcome, brother. We're talking
yeah,
about we're
sorry, I
talking
don't know
about
what the
Lincoln
heck
Square
happened.
stuff.
Yeah.
Um, and
Um.
our movement that you and I have been pushing on is how we can get the larger publications more actionably engaged and how we can do that without pushback from the publications themselves. Because we've at least had one experience from um, Midas Touch that was a little bit of a punch down on Shane. And we were surprised by it.
It's so disappointing because it's like you hear a lot of the stuff that you hear when you go into this and when you're motivated is just like a regular dude to try and get out there and do it and motivate people to make change is you hear the people up top say, hey, we want independent voices out there, we want to hear from like what the people are saying. And from my experience, there's a lot of gatekeeping as far as like hey, I'm just trying to get my stuff out there. I'm just trying to meet people, this and that. And it's like radio silence. You know what I mean? So, yeah, I definitely know what you guys mean.
I mean, like, and like I said, like Nick knows that I've had this experience. And I personally, like, yeah, like I've been come from Midas Touch. Like I backed them forever, man. Like I will never forget. Like I spent election night with Ben Mycelis. You know, like I shared that grief with him. They were there for me, like, and I have been there for them, but now I have a hard time feeling like it was anything other than a consumer, relationship where I'm consuming something that they're providing that people really want, which is that relationship. But the reality now is to me that, especially as I am doing work, real work. Like I've put out two of the last two pieces I've put out are the best writing I've ever done in terms of investigative journalism. Like I firmly believe that. I just did one on WLFI. I just did one on drones and these things are like crazy to me. Like the fact that I'm the person like writing about this, when I have sent these articles to Midas Touch, well, the first time I wrote about WLFI, I sent it to Midas Touch and I begged them in an email and in texts to publish this information. And they never did. They never got back to me. You know, people will read my stuff, be like, tell Midas, tell Aaron Parnas. I'm like, there's no point. They don't want my work. They don't want to, lift me up and give me visibility. They want to maintain their base. And if they see work that is comparable or maybe in some cases better than what they're putting out at certain things, they're not going to lift that up, because Melissa Corrigan said this idea of American exceptionalism, where you want to dominate your space, which is contrary to what me and Nick and, you as well by being here are doing. It looks like you've got a very substantive following. So you choosing to come over here and engage with Nick, that's part of what we're trying to do, which is this cross-platforming, which is entirely different from what they're doing. But to the point, and I think that push is going to come organically. There's a schism forming between the independent voices that are supposed to be lifted up, that have been encouraged by what these institutional pro-democracy, pro-independent media networks are pushing, what they've inspired, and what has actually come of it. And everyone looking around and being like, well, why are you not living up to your promise? I saw you, Midas made a post the other day. Should we sue Trump for something?
Yes.
And I was like, are you fucking kidding me? Like, are you kidding me? After everything, should you sue them? Like, no, do it. Don't ask us. Do it.
We've already told you we want it done.
Of course, like, ever since that one response, and I had sent multiple. The thing that was interesting about this is they picked the most mundane, easiest response out of the three that were circulating. So 2 had to do with money, specifically like some real numbers and a real question to answer. The other 2, the one they didn't. But the whole point is they went for the easy response, and they haven't responded to me since. And I've sent plenty of messages, but at the end of the day, it is definitely like they need to lift up the work, and they're not doing it. So we're going to lift up ourselves.
And we're going to lift someone up really special here in a second, as we're joined in DC.
Oh, hell yeah.
By Melissa fucking Corrigan.
What's up, Melissa?
Hello. How are you?
Good morning.
Good
Sorry,
morning.
it took me a little bit to get here. The last time I was in DC, I was able to walk from Union Station directly through the Capitol grounds, and they have barricaded the entire Capitol grounds out to the sidewalk. So I had to go all the way around. So clearly, they may be anticipating a little bit of activity.
They're afraid. They're afraid.
Good. They should be afraid.
They should be. Yeah, exactly.
They
The
should be.
walls are running
Yesterday
red
was
with ketchup.
So I am making my way down to the rally point for today's kickoff event. It is a Wednesday, so they knew there wasn't going to be like massive crowds of people. There is a heavier police presence than the last time I was here also, but there were, I love this display they have here. I'm gonna show you this. This is the 5,000 American veterans who die every year from lung cancer.
Mm.
So why are they cutting our benefits? Why are they destroying our VA?
Right?
So we can get to 10,000.
It's very
Yep.
performative. If we could put a flag in the ground, that costs 20 cents. Healthcare, though.
We're saving money.
Yeah.
The veterans are dying. We're not spending as much money on them. It's
so much more cost
budget
effective.
cuts. We're paying down the national debt.
Veterans too.
So yeah, I got some clarification on the sustained activity here in DC.
Yeah.
I was on a planning call with him yesterday, and so I clarified because I was like, hey, when you say sustained engagement, are you talking like, you know, tents, camping, staying on the grounds? And they were like, no, because the same thing that happened with Occupy would happen here, and we would just get beat up every day. So they're not doing like overnight camp out situations, but they are doing everyday presence, like sustained every single day in perpetuity until Trump is gone.
Hell yeah.
You know, I think that's actually more effective, probably, and less of a waste of time, because then there can never be issues of curfew and shit like that. Like
And it doesn't
the
give the
point
media the
isn't,
chance to turn it around on them.
yeah, and it doesn't get to be like this disorderly camp of people. It seems like this will be more effective. Yeah, and there's no use, like Stephanie Wilson says in our chat in Substack, is plus we don't want to give them the excuse of opening fire.
Right.
And so this removes that ability for an excuse. So Melissa, can you talk a little bit more about what's going on there? And I'm going to show a website that we are promoting for an unmasked law enforcement effort, and want to get Melissa, if you can talk about it, and Evan, your thoughts on it and these types of efforts, and how we can explode this effort into the mainstream view, and get people on board with the idea, because I think we're all tired of iceberg and DHS masked federal agents who are look like the bad guys and act like the bad guys being the bad guys. So Melissa,
Yeah,
I'm going to hand it over to you.
We were on that live last week with Dean Blundell, and he said, you guys have to unify around one message that's so universal that you can't really object to it, nonpartisan, doesn't matter who you are. There are plenty of Republicans out there that are sick of this mass shit too. So, when was that, last Thursday? Oh, it's been a blur.
It was
Last
Friday
Thursday,
when
Trump,
we were on the live, we were talking about this, but yes,
right.
Sorry.
So he dropped the safedc.gov website
which I'll pull up right now to
that
show
is announcing
exactly
a
what
Trump
it is.
police force.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. But what they failed to do was secure safedc.info, .store, .shop, .me. So, it's just a shame when people take over URLs like that.
Yeah, so this is the propaganda website that is online right now.
Dude, his hair doesn't look that good. He's
No,
also
it
not. Also, there. I've never seen his shoulders that far back. He's not even capable of keeping his shoulders back. He's the slouchiest motherfucker I've ever seen in my life. I don't even know how he raises his arms above his shoulders. Like but You know, I mean, this just is propaganda, right? You know, like you see
Yeah.
all this shit, and it's like, but like Melissa said, they didn't secure the URLs on either side. That's something we talk about a lot. Is in the age of the internet, there is so many things that can be done if you're savvy and you understand the environment they're operating in. These guys don't know what they don't know how the
Yes.
internet works. They're
They
idiots.
they
They're
don't.
really dumb. And they're out of their depth in terms of their knowledge of how the space works. So things like that can be done, where you can snatch up these URLs that are very similar. So it's important to see these kind of things and to highlight these strategies to flood the space with democracy. Because if you're there and you have your propaganda website, but everywhere else on every other side, you have, counter propaganda, you can flood that space.
As I cover my
That's one of the
face with
things
a QR
Rick
code.
Wilson was talking about it this morning, is that one of the big things from last night, and that Trump brought it up too, is that he wasn't on the ballot. And one of the things that I see is think one of the things that I think we see is the disparity right now between the motivation of the two sides. Like when Trump isn't on the ballot, those hardcore hateful people who make up his base aren't going to go vote. They're not civically engaged
Right.
like everybody on the pro democracy side is right now. And when we have people starting to get more civically engaged and do things like come up with plans to buy URLs and infiltrate these spaces, and we see people motivated, we are way more inclined to be able to push back against them than they are with their hate and everything. So I think that we're seeing the start of people really start to realize that we can push back and we do have the ability to fight these people and that we can make this happen. And I think that, like Nick said earlier, yesterday was the first step. And we're seeing a lot of Democrats and a lot of progressives start to get way more civically engaged than I think we've seen in the past. And it's really motivating to see.
Yeah, I want to piggyback on your thought really quick because you mentioned that those conservative isn't even the right term, because I think the term conservative in general, it hails from small government. Just the government does its job and stays the fuck out of things it doesn't belong in. So from that standard, like, you can be conservative. I would consider myself conservative. The term itself has been warped, but I need to get back on track here. The point is, you said these voters, they're not going to come out. They're not as engaged. And another important point to point out here is that there's not that many. 51% of internet traffic is bots. That means minimum 51% of MAGA presence online is bots, if we're going to apply that, right? So they're not.
Am I paused?
The noise
shit.
online doesn't translate to ballots. That's another thing. There's not a direct translation between ballots and, the actual MAGA voice online. And you said they're not as engaged. Like, the people that are pro MAGA, they're less likely to vote in an election like this where he's not on the ballot. And they probably, only voted because of the amount of noise in the online space. But yeah, record turnout in New York, in Virginia, in all of these places. And also, I think the win of Mamdani, it actually legitimizes the platform of a social democrat, which has never happened before, which it gives the Democratic Party an opportunity. They can choose to shift their platform. They can choose to go the direction the people have voted, which is, we don't want a Democratic Party. We want the Democratic Socialist Party. That's what people want, which is huge, I think, as well, to point that out. I know I wasn't here earlier. You might have already mentioned that. But.
What do you think, Nick?
Sorry.
No, you're good. I didn't mean to throw you in there like that. I was just curious your thoughts.
Yeah, no, my thoughts on all of this is this type of citizen action is what is needed. Like, this is what the right used to be really good at, and thinking about early on and ahead of times. Like a lot of the right wing machine was built on buying these propaganda websites and or making propaganda websites on similar or near sounding URLs and domains that were um, close to being real ones. Like there's fake websites all the time. There's people who make fake accounts of us all the time. Like I have, I think at least one fake account on Substack that uses my picture and very,
What?
very close to my username.
Oh, I've seen that one.
And that's expected on in
Mhm.
modern internet. This is technological warfare. Like we have to admit that we're at war with somebody, and that somebody just happens to be Russia and our federal government at the
One and the
moment.
same,
But
apparently. At
one
this
and the
point.
same, apparently. But you know,
Yeah.
we have to be willing to admit that we're at war, and that what we're doing is fighting back through nonviolent mechanisms.
Yeah, look
And
how
Melissa, I'm
beautiful
going
it
to
is
pull your
there.
screen into
Oh,
the
yeah.
middle here.
Yeah, I'm just so like I mentioned the last time I was in DC, these streets here all were lined with food vendors and some like souvenir vendors and stuff. And they've removed everything. So these kiosks right there are the only place that you can get food, and they are run by the Parks Department. So they can be shut down, at any time.
It's like North
So,
Korea getting rid of all the culture and everything in the capital.
right, that's what I
Mhm.
thought. Like everything looks really, really beautiful. The National Guard has done wonders with the landscaping. But to me, it's lacking like this energy. And obviously, all the Smithsonians are closed right now, which really sucks for these families. I've seen a lot of families that are international. So they planned this trip months ago, you know, only to come and everything of value is shut down.
Yeah. Melissa, like what are your thoughts on that idea we were kind of discussing about, potentially with Mamdani winning, providing an opportunity to shift the Democrat Party to maybe the
Oh my God.
Democratic Socialist platform?
I think
That
it's taken
opportunity.
our country so long to figure out the word socialist in its mouth. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like to figure out what it means to be socialist and to truly come to terms with the fact that we already are. We have Social Security, we have Medicare, we've already established programs. I mean, FDR, you could really argue that FDR was the first democratic socialist with the New Deal, which was highly unpopular at the time. People look back on that in history and say, oh, that was amazing. It created jobs. And yeah, he almost got run out of the White House for that. So we've been resisting. There's this push and pull in America for centuries, resisting the power struggle. And unfortunately, when you let corporations get to the power level that they have, and there's that much money involved, then it's very easy for them to demonize the idea of socialism.
Yeah,
Why should you lay on your couch and get food? That's
but
the
Mhm.
message.
yeah,
But
totally.
we have socialism for rich fucking people all the
Right.
time. Like we
Yeah,
give
those
them all
bailouts, exactly.
fucking bailouts and all this shit all the time. But normal people, yeah, you got to pull yourself up by the fucking bootstraps every single time. But those bootstraps keep getting smaller and smaller and smaller. And now they're just a thin fucking single strand left going, hey, pull yourself up by the bootstraps while we steal all your fucking wealth and money. And I'm
Well,
glad
I
that
know.
there's sustained efforts going in and that we're
I
doing
know for
things
a
like,
for for a lot of us, the bootstraps that we had were given to us by the fucking government because we had to go in the
mhm,
military to get an education and to get health
yep.
care and to get anywhere in life. I love that Jolly Good Ginger said the truth in an interview a few weeks ago when people said, "Why did you enlist?" And he said, "I enlisted because of poverty. How else was I going to get out
Mhm,
of my town? How else was I going to get anywhere? My parents didn't have money for me." That's the truth of it. So,
yeah.
You know, I want to mention too, because they came at Mamdani, these interviews, I believe it was CNN. And they're like, how do you plan to pay for this plan? Like, it's going to be $180 billion, and his answer was so good. Well, I'm just going to put a 2% tax on the richest New Yorkers. It raises $100 billion. The other $80 billion.
2%.
Yeah. And then 108 billion, 100 billion. And then you do this, and this, and it's paid for. And they're like, oh, right. But because it's like, and, they talk about the confusion between the term socialism and capitalism. The reason we're here is because of, this quote I say a lot, but words are the lens through which we, craft reality. Okay. So by changing the view of what socialism is to effectively communism, okay, they've taken the words and they've made them synonymous in terms of what people think they are. When you don't have really a good example anywhere of a truly socialist system. But the real crux of it is, I think, is that, this is not, America is a capitalist country. Okay. Like, we're a capitalist country, and I am, I guess by Stephen Miller's definition, a terrorist, domestic terrorist, because I am anti-capitalist, because I look around the world, and I see capitalism destroys, these countries. You have this epidemic in Japan right now, of, I forget the name, I can't pronounce it, but you have like 1.5 million people who don't leave their homes. Like, they literally don't leave their house. And it's because of like how you have this society that is so capitalist. Like, when you turn 22, you go to a convention or whatever, and you either get a job or you're shunned by society. Okay. And you have over a million people that don't leave their homes. And there's like cases where their parents die. They're in their 50s, and they're older. And their parents die and they starve to death because they have entirely withdrawn from society. South Korea is experiencing this like crazy. It's happening in Spain. We're starting to see it in America, where you have a group of people, when society is so oppressive and you have to work and grind so hard and you're either a success or a failure, you see people start to withdraw from society. And these are in capitalist countries. And where you always see these trends accelerating the fastest is where you see historically a pro-capitalist government being set up by the United States. It's why you see this in South Korea. It's why you see this in Japan. Their economies were shaped foundationally by U.S. interventionism. And we know capitalism directly leads to these things. And that's just a fact. Like, like anything else, like, you look at data, you draw conclusions. Go ahead.
What I don't understand is that capitalism is a closed loop system.
Right.
It's bound to fail if you don't pay workers, because they're the consumers. So it's baffling to me how, okay, so we're standing on the precipice potentially of the health insurance death spiral, which is where, if these premium credits don't get renewed, a healthy chunk of people, relatively healthy people, are going to just drop off because they can't afford it. And so then the insurance companies are going to reconfigure and say, oh shit, we lost X number of people, so we need to reconfigure the premiums because it's a smaller pool. And you know what happens when it's a smaller pool? The prices are going to go up for everyone. And when that happens, even more people who are moderately healthy are going to drop off. They're going to say, well, fuck, I literally can't afford that. I don't have the money. And that's how health insurance dies.
I got a good number for you guys. In 2023, the United States spent 17.6% of its GDP on healthcare. 17.6% of our GDP on healthcare. Think about that as a bubble. Think about that as a bubble. Think about all we're a service economy. You have all of these services that have been inflated by extracting wealth from people. The value of these things are inflated by the extraction of wealth. If the valuation of our economy is built on all of these exploitative industries, and that changes. What does that mean? Well, the crazy thing is we have plenty of examples of what happens when you tax the rich and their economy collapses. You see massive booms in infrastructure and energy and quality of life improvement, and the government can employ lots of people. There's no reason the government can't employ people to do things that benefit people. Like there's having a small government and a large government workforce. There's no reason that they can't both happen at the same time. Right? Like the solutions are right there. Like it's more a matter of the industries that collapse are the industries that make the capitalists and the oligarchs exceptionally wealthy, that they've inflated to be 17.6% of the United States GDP in 2023.
So when I talk to people that say they love capitalism and they're pure capitalists, I ask them, what's the end game there? How do you see that? How do you see that playing out?
Yeah, hikikomori.
Yeah. So I want to get, I'm going to pull our website back up that we're showing off, which is the safetyc.info in the top corner. Because we didn't get to the final sections, really of what the mission is going to do and how everyone can actually get engaged. Cause that's one of the big things about Banner and Backbone is how do we get people engaged? Oh,
we've got mounted patrol coming in.
Ooh, I'm going to put you in the middle of here.
Why? I cannot fathom.
Can you show what you're seeing? And then we'll get onto the website.
Flip it around. So the mounted patrol's going in right there. You see them?
Can you
in the blue helmets?
Steady for a second.
Good. I hope. Yeah, it's a long slog. If you've never been to DC, it's about a mile from.
I'm Californian. It's like it's literally like the clear opposite side of the country.
Yeah.
Are those their bikes right there? Is that?
Okay. And there are National Guard, groups of National Guard there. They're all armed.
Are they? Is that like assault rifles or non-lethal, less than lethal?
Those lethal they look non-lethal. Yeah.
Non-lethal.
Yeah. But this is so as you get up, there's sort of a little dip over here, kind of a little valley next to the monument, and that's where they have these that's where they allow you to petition your government in this hole over here.
Yeah.
So
a little hidey hole. That way you're not in view of everybody.
I was out here in June, and I live streamed in June, and there was none of this presence at all.
And they're just planning on it being permanent.
What's the point of all that? Like, it doesn't make you safe. None of this makes DC safe. It just makes DC threatening.
Right. Exactly.
And what's like?
There's no point in that. People of color inside. That's all it. You know what I mean? Because armed guards and everything out there on patrol, that's who they're trying to keep away. And
and yet the citizens are living on. And yet the citizens are living
somebody doing pamphlets.
Yeah.
Look at that. Nice. Can you put that on the screen for a second, Melissa, so we can see it?
This is what we're talking about, the flags. Patriotic.
Nice.
Nice. Awesome.
So I'm trying to get up and see what size of a crowd that we're talking about.
It looks substantial.
Looks substantial.
It is. Particularly for like I said, for a Wednesday.
Okay, so while you're walking up, I'm gonna switch you off from the main for a second, and I'm gonna get back to the Unmask Law Enforcement safetyc.info. There's some action items here on this webpage that I think are super important. Is first, call. There are links to use 5calls.org, and you can call your representative, your senator, and there's pre-planned scripts that you can already use and get your voice heard. Next, there's email, which you can email your elected representatives and demand they actually do shit. Democracy.io is linked here so you can quickly connect with your rep. And then finally, there is a petition on MoveOn linked right here. And I'm going to switch to that tab here in a moment. That is, mandate that ICE agent show their face and identification. It has 106,673 signatures right now. I just signed it while we were on this live. So sign it, sign this live, and sign the petition and get it over the 200,000 signatures that they're asking for. We can do that. That is citizen-led action, and you can easily do that yourself. You can easily get onto that site. Just go to safedc.info, click on the link for under sign, and sign the petition. We're going to blast this out in the show notes too for everyone. So you can go to that link and hit the petition and sign it. And then finally, this one is something we're super excited to talk about. And then I'm going to get Melissa back in the main, is Gear Up. Coming soon on this site, there's going to be there's going to be stickers, yard signs, t-shirts, different things you can buy, and merchandise that you can get. That is all going to go, for the proceeds are all going to go to Feeding America, to combat hunger throughout our communities, while, you know, our government hurts our communities instead. So we're going to do something about it. So we're working to do something about it and help Feeding America. So come join us. Look for the Gear Up site coming soon. But go to safedc.info and sign that petition, and become part of the effort. And so I'm going to move back to Melissa, get you in the front, and we can talk more about what's going on and look at this effort that's growing. This is awesome.
This is hefty for a Wednesday.
Yeah, that looks
This is good shit.
substantial. I like it. I love it, actually.
I love the big signs. Impeach, convict, remove. I always love signs with these things. Americans are fucking creative, man. Oh, valid. There's Veterans Against Fascism back there.
Awesome. It's good to see Veterans Against Fascism are out. There we go. Showtime. Get Melissa's up there while we can all see.
Man, people have really had enough. They want this motherfucker out.
And that's what we need. And so we were talking about this last week with swear Representative Grijalva in from Arizona. It's been well over a month. We're nearing 2 months here soon, on where Mike Johnson has refused to swear in a duly elected and certified representative to the House of Representatives. He is actively providing taxation without representation to Arizona to protect pedophiles, to shut down the government, to protect pedophiles and human trafficking and child sex trafficking, and hurt Americans on purpose to protect pedophiles. Look at that big inflated orange baby.
Oh, I love that. I love that balloon. I have a picture of in San Diego.
Melissa,
during
get the flag. Get the flag. It looks like we've got some One Piece.
There we go. It's the One Piece
flag out there.
Hell yeah.
Do you guys know the significance behind the One Piece flag?
Shane, can you talk about it? Because that's your generation, brother.
Well, actually, there's a significance here because you have globally a movement that started in
you guys,
Thailand and sorry.
This is the Capitol officer that was attacked during January 6th. Michael Fanone.
Is he there?
Oh, Michael Fanone.
Yeah.
Oh, that's awesome. We can't really hear him at all. Has he started speaking yet?
Who has? The the sound on my little AirPods isn't great.
No, that's fine. What we'll probably do is see if we can link to a YouTube video of his speech, because it'll probably be up on YouTube afterwards, or even on his Substack, because that's awesome. But Evan, what do you think about this type of action now? Now that you're seeing the initial crowd on a Wednesday, what do you think this could represent in America, and how do you think we as media networks and folks on media networks, how do you think we can be the most impactful for actionable events.
I think you guys do a great job of getting the information out there and everything. I think that this is really effective. Having Melissa there to be able to show people on the ground, because you're not going to get this kind of coverage from corporate media or anything. And this is the kind of thing that's going to motivate regular people.
Oh.
And it's going to motivate people to get out in their communities or be more civically engaged or pay attention and things like that. And I know it's the nation's capital and everything, but that's inspiring to see on a Wednesday. I think that this is the movement and this is the momentum that we're going to see going into the midterms next year. And I think that it starts today. And I think that this is the perfect example of it. I mean, it's just, I've got like goosebumps just watching it. Like that amount of people to take their day off on a Wednesday to go be civically engaged just because they're motivated about protecting their country. And I would assume motivated by yesterday's results. I mean, look at that, man. That takes balls to dress up like the Handmaid's Tale and go out and use your voice.
Yeah. I would
And I
only
gotta say, the
counter
one
that
thing that's
statement.
noticeably absent is mainstream media. There's no media here.
Yeah, and the only thing I would really say is it doesn't take balls to do that. It takes vagina, because that shit's stronger than ours.
Women can have balls too. It takes fortitude.
Yeah, it takes fortitude. It takes birthing fortitude, because men can't birth things, and that woman just sat out there in a red in that red suit and said shame. And I think that was one of the best. I think that's one of the best things we need to talk about is just shame. Is these people need to be shamed. Like, I think part of the unmasking effort isn't so much, well, it is all about signing and shutting down the masked ICE agents and the masked DHS and all of that. It is also about shame, because if you see their faces and you know who they are, you can shame them. And it's shameful what they're doing. Shame is a group emotion. Is us saying, fuck you, you're wrong. That's what shame is. Shame is pushing it back out.
Yes. They know, because you see it every time they're confronted with the truth. They know and they feel that shame. They know what they're doing is wrong. And that's why that's so effective, what you're saying, Nick, is we as a society have to collectively shame them back into the holes that they fucking came from, that they felt motivated by Donald Trump to be able to like do that kind of hate out in the open. And this is the kind of stuff that's going to show them that we're not going to stand for it.
Totally. I want to address, because the chat people were asking for the flag. Can you explain the flag really quick? So so the One Piece flag is basically the anime itself. It's about this guy, young kid who travels the world with his ragtag crew and basically fights tyrants. Okay, he overcomes oppressors. It's a great anime. It's super good. It's one of the classics. But the symbolism behind the flag is it's called the Jolly. It's a Jolly Roger, and it started in Indonesia during the protests in Indonesia, where you have all of these Gen Z protests, these Gen Z uprisings across the world that's going on right now. It's a very undercovered phenomenon because, of course, you have Gen Z people, rising up in their governments against corruption. It started in Indonesia, and it was in Yemen recently. It's all over Africa, but all of these young Gen Z student protests, this is a international symbol for resisting tyranny and the Gen Z movement for accountability in government and unseating corruption and oligarchy. So seeing that One Piece flag, it is now a symbol for it's a symbol for the world, and it represents a lot more than just an anime. It represents a movement for young people, Gen Z people, against the status quo and against corruption. And, you're going to start to see that here in America as well, I think. But, that is interesting to see that flag there, because it does carry an immense amount of symbolism, not just to the anime, but in a global sense right now. Like it is a international symbol that has been adopted by young people all over the world who have successfully unseated their corrupt governments, like they did in Indonesia, like they've done in Yemen, all over Africa. So interesting.
Yeah, I'm just reading this. I don't know who it's from, but there's a piece on it that's saying that they rose the flag up above the Nepalese parliament. Gen Z did.
Yep. In Nepal. Yep.
And then they held elections over Discord.
Yeah, they did.
Like, we have to talk about that too. Like, one of the things we need to start talking about in the US.
Indonesia or Nepal where that happened?
I think it was Nepal that it happened, that did the Discord, but I could be wrong. But what we need to take that lesson, though. We need to take the lesson that we don't need to rely on these corporate voting companies and this MAGA-owned voting bullshit, and the lie that we have to vote a specific way that only the government controls. No. The people control voting in the US. The people control voting. You can fucking vote. And at some point, they're going to start having to just listen. Like, we need to put out into the zeitgeist that it's time for a recall election for the entire fucking federal government. If you are supporting the shutdown, if you are part of this Republican fascist regime, you should be recalled immediately. They want to treat the government like a business. Well, fuck them. They're not doing their jobs. They've left on a vacation permanently for permanent healthcare, permanent vacation. If they want to treat it like a business, then they're fucking fired. The shareholders of America
That's right.
are
We're the
voting
fucking
and
board.
saying, we're the board of directors. We're the shareholders of America. If they want to treat it like a business, then each person has a shareholder vote, and fuck them. They need to get out.
Okay, there does appear to be one media outlet. Looks like a local news station. But
Well,
Shane, I
we
wanted to
had
say, you love your targetations. What they just did, I know you guys can't hear. They literally just had everyone sit down, take their phones out, and they gave them a phone number to call about an issue all at the same time. Shane,
that's what we're
it's your
talking
shit.
about. That's what Shane's been talking about. And that's what we need to do. That's how we win our democracy. Is you guys, all of us.
Oh, I think we're going to see the Handmaid's March.
Ooh. So just so everybody knows, I'm going to be keeping this stream open for a while with Melissa for at least until the top of the next hour. So until at least 1 p.m. Eastern, because I have another show that I'm hopefully going to be doing at 1 p.m. with a friend, Lisa Joy, on Christian nationalism. Oh, let's watch this. This is...
I love that.
Women
God,
always leading from the
that's
front.
powerful. Yeah, why is it no men are why is it there aren't enough men out there? Like, I see a bunch of older men right now in the screen, but it's mostly women. It's always women who lead this charge. It's always minorities who lead this charge that are not men, specifically not white men. And I think it's time for more white men to stand up and walk with these women and walk beside them and uplift their messages and uplift people like Melissa. And that's why Melissa's out here. Like, her voice what she's doing right now is more powerful than any of the major media companies are doing. We are covering something that almost nobody else is right now. And we're going to put all of this out for everybody to see. And people are welcome to copy and use parts of this video and these signs and the images from the march and things that you can pull out of this, and the size and the scope of people there. Use it, show it, get other media groups' attentions, get Midas Touch's attention with
Yeah, tag
our
all those people.
I was
broadcasting.
gonna say, like, can you see
Tag
Midas
Lincoln
Touch
Square
or
because
anyone there?
Evan's on here.
And then
But if-
one thing that I'll do, I know that when I post notes on Substack, it'll filter through the Lincoln Square page and show up on there as well. So when I share the video of the live stream, when it comes up, I'll get it pushed out and it'll show through Lincoln Square, and I'm sure they'll share it and everything too.
Yeah, and that's what we really need is we like Banner and Backbone. One of the things that we saw in the chat earlier, and this is how we know Kings but Elvis. Well, Elvis was kind of a creepy dude, so I don't know about that. But his music was good. I'll give him that. He had a good voice, and I like his music.
His
But
voice
he's
was
a creepy
iconic.
dude.
It's like Michael Jackson too. Like he was a pedophile, but like, you know, his voice was fantastic. You know, that's another thing altogether. You know, all of these historical.
Yeah, that's another conversation altogether. But it's good to see all of this. Like it's great to see all of this, and I wish like this is what we're asking the bigger networks to or bigger independent groups to fund is people who can go in and be part of this. Like I don't understand why we're so afraid of the idea that we should be able to fund protesters or like pay people to actually live and protest. Like why shouldn't we be using progressive organizations and pro-democracy organizations to ensure that there are sustained movements like this through Feeding America or other organizations that can then help, or Centered America and their veteran-focused care packages. Like we can do all of these things. We just need help. Really, that's what we're asking for. Is Shane and I are asking for the major or the bigger groups with millions of followers or hundreds of thousands of followers to help to spread the words, and for each individual in this audience to do it too. There's been 3 QR codes on the screen. In the top corner, I've put the safedc.info. I've put the Unmask Ice Move On, and I've got the Unseat Johnson Move On that that Shane presented. Okay, I'm cool with this. White men.
These guys coming by here are from the veterans tent.
See, that's what I'm talking about.
They're from the veterans tent.
That's what I'm talking about. Vets, if you're out there, go get out there.
And you see a couple of them are disabled. So you got disabled vets that can walk out here.
Mm-hmm.
Come on.
Yeah, if the disabled vets can go walk, you're not disabled, you can come walk too. Like come walk, come be out. If you're in the area, go out there and support, even if only for a day. Is go out there and support and make yourself visibly known that this is what you care about. So
part of what we're doing is organizing a schedule online, so you'll be able to go online and book a time slot of when you'll be here, so that there is a greater chance of having continual coverage.
Yeah, and that's needed. So but yeah, like this is awesome to see that there's so much going. It's widespread. It's huge right now. And okay, we're going to lose Evan here in a second. So I'm going to move over to a different screen just for a moment to give Evan a chance to promote himself and let everybody know where you can find his work. So I'm going to switch over here. Evan, sell yourself, my friend. It's been wonderful having you.
I appreciate you, man. I love you guys. Everybody subscribe to Banner and Backbone. I've got enough visibility that I need from Lincoln Square and everything. Yeah, what Nick is doing, what Melissa's doing, what Shane is doing, subscribe to all of them. This is amazing work. I can't even begin to tell you guys like how important this is, how much they care. And that shows through this live stream, because if corporate media gave a shit like independent media does, you would be seeing this kind of stuff on the top of every hour. You would see how motivated the American citizens are, and it's independent media bringing you guys this kind of coverage. So subscribe to Nick, subscribe to Shane, subscribe to Melissa. You guys can find me at News from Underground. I appreciate you guys. I love you, and I can't wait to do this again soon, man. I appreciate you guys.
Thanks, man.
Yeah.
I totally so appreciate it, Evan. And we just got someone who scanned your QR code, so that's awesome.
Sweet.
And also subscribe to yeah, free subscribe to Lincoln Square so that you can help encourage them to get the word out. Help encourage Lincoln Square, because if you tag creators like Evan and the larger networks, if enough people do it, it's called social pressure, and we're doing social pressure for good. And it helps them know where the efforts are needed, and where people really are concerned. So, Evan, always a pleasure to have you, my friend. I can't
I
wait to talk
appreciate
to
you
you
guys.
again.
You guys have a good one. We'll talk soon.
Yeah, nice to meet you.
Sounds great. Thanks, Evan. All right, Shane, how much are you still with us for a little while?
I gotta go. I have a live stream with Zev Shalev here in about an hour. So I do have
Well,
to.
I'm gonna be hopping off to save my battery because they have
Okay.
different events scheduled throughout the afternoon. So I'll get with you, Nick, and see if you want me to hop back on a little bit later.
Perfect.
Oh, absolutely. I'll end the stream when Melissa's here in a minute. Then we'll go over and let the rest of the crew and myself say where you can find all of us, all that good stuff. And we'll come back throughout the day, different times. Melissa, I'll get with you to make sure that you could go live too if you want to, without me, and just get this stream going. And I'll hop in as a host and promote or whatever's needed. We'll get stuff going throughout the day. So I'm going to we got our friend Evan
I
here
did
on
just
our
see the
screen.
Associated Press and routers.
Good. It's good to know that there's national and international media showing up and watching this. We're going to make sure that this gets blown up for everybody to see. And so, Shane, sell yourself, my friend.
Yeah, no, for sure. For those of you who don't know me, I'm Shane Urich. I'm the founder of the Firebrand Project. I do a lot of things, investigative, kind of an analytical journalism. I'm a polemic essayist, so I like to ask questions. One of the things I do as well is I do daily reports called the Firebrand Report, where we go over key news and do an analysis of current events, how it plays into the big picture, and all kinds of cool interviews, special interviews, discussions called Firebrand United, where I work with different creators here on Substack to just have really interesting discussions and create dialogue. Right, that's our mission here, is to forge dialogue and start the conversation to change the national conversation. So if you want to come check out my work, scan that QR code. I have 2 articles I put out recently. Both of them are firecrackers. Both of them are touching on shit that absolutely no one is talking about. And I bring receipts. I'm not just here making claims. Like, I have data to back up my shit. It blows my mind that people aren't talking about this. So if you want to help me out, you can come, be a free subscriber, engage with my content, like it, share it, restack it, all that good stuff. If you're in a position to become a paid subscriber, it really helps every single one of us here as independent creators. So that's an option as well. But I'd love to see you guys come over and join our community. Join us for the Firebrand Report at 2 p.m. PST or 5 p.m. EST every day. And I'll be with Zev Shalev in an hour if you guys want to come hang out with us as well. So it was great to be here with you, Nick. Thanks for the last minute invite. And I love seeing all this, Melissa and DC. It's very reassuring, and I appreciate all of you. Burn bright, resist, and I will see you guys later, I hope. Nick, always a pleasure, my brother.
Always a pleasure, Shane. Talk to you again soon, man.
All right, bye-bye. Melissa, I'll see you later.
All right, see you later.
All right, Melissa, sell yourself, my friend.
I'm getting a workout over here. Okay, so I am Melissa Corrigan with Counterstory Media. This is what I do. I try to put myself on the ground and you can see through my eyes what's going on, because we probably aren't going to see a lot of this on the mainstream media. So subscribe, share my stuff, paid subs, always welcome.
Always. Thank you, Melissa. Thank you for bringing all this amazing live coverage this morning.
Thank you for the
from
platform.
DC.
Like, this is awesome.
Hell yeah. I'm so glad we can give you this platform to put this information out there, put this live coverage out there. You're amazing. Go support Melissa. Go support her, free or paid. I encourage paid for all of our contributors because and the network, because it helps us. We're all doing this independently, and we don't have corporate backings. We don't have major donors. We don't have any of that crap. We're doing this all through subscriber driven work, and the work that Melissa's doing needs your support. So please come support Melissa if you can, through her Counterstore Media and all of her work, and spread the word and spread this word. And then I'm going to show mine. Rocking a new logo design that I'm testing out. Thank you to Stephanie Wilson for the amazing logo and update for me. I'm trying some new things, getting my publication updated a little bit. Come join me at Sick of This Shit Publications. It's more health and community focused, as well as I'm beginning to publish some of the music that I have written and recorded that I've done myself, and compositions that I've done. It's all classical music. So come support me. I have a goal of getting to 250 paid subs, and I will publish my first piece of music onto Substack, and then I'll continue to add some extra goals in there. So please help support me at Sick of This Shit Publications. I'm also doing a 50% off sale right now. So that's any paid or free subscribers. Super, super appreciated. Thank you so much. And then finally, and really importantly, come support Banner and Backbone itself. Come support the network. We are rapidly growing. We're doing some amazing contributions and collaborative work with folks like Senate America, with Gavin and Sherrod, or Sherrod. Sorry, brother. And we're doing work with friends like Evan Fields and other major contributors where we've worked with and work with Chris Goldsmith over at the Find Out Project, and On Offense with Chris Goldsmith and Veterans Fighting Fascism and Task Force Butler and our Friday Book Club. So there's a lot that Banner and Backbone is offering as a network. So much support that we would love from everyone. We do not have any founding subscribers. We do not offer that yet, but we, I think, are going to soon do that. So if anyone wants to become a founding member of Banner and Backbone, that would be amazing here soon. I'll let everybody know and keep y'all updated. But this has been amazing to get to see and do all of this with everyone. There's over 400 of you just on Substack with us, and that's incredible. Thank you all for doing this. Thank you all for being here with us. The chat was amazing in Substack today. As always, you guys are wonderful. This community is why we do this work. And I'm going to finish this off with showing Melissa as a highlight here, and the protest that's going on and what's happening sitting in DC right now, and that you can be part of it too. So come hit the QR code in the top corner. We've got Unseat Johnson. Next, we've got Unmask ICE, which is the Move On petition that we are supporting to unmask ICE and federal agents. And then finally, go to the new safetydc.info website, join the Unmask Law Enforcement movement, become part of the effort, and keep an eye out soon for the coming shop on safetydc.info that'll route you to be able to get gear and merchandise that will all proceeds will then go to support Feeding America. And we're going to help feed America across the country while our government actively refuses to support us. So thank you so much to everyone who has joined us. Thank you everyone who has participated. Scan the QR codes, who's watching on our other platforms on YouTube or Twitch. We appreciate every single one of you for joining us today. Again, become free or paid subscribers with all of our great hosts. If you're on Substack, hit the Chiron in the top left-hand corner of your screen. Subscribe to everyone that was here. That'll get all of the hosts, and we will be working and putting out more information as always. Thank you so much, everyone. talk to you again soon, and look out for more Banner and Backbone updates and streams throughout the day as Melissa brings other events. So again, thank you so much, Melissa, for joining today. Thank you for Shane and Evan and everyone in the audience. And Melissa, I'll talk to you again here soon.
All right.
All right.
See you later.
Thanks all. Have a great day.